drilled it expecting to get more, 1.5% nickel type thing, which would be fine, which would be great. you get a lot of happy people finding a 1.5% nickel. Nonetheless, what we found was something quite completely different. We found our discovery hole was almost 8 meters of what was about 1 ounce PGMs, 1.5% copper, and it was 60 meters from surface. So it was quite a surprise, and obviously a happy surprise. We hit some amazing holes, really, each one sort of better than the next. We had, I don't know, at least, 5 or 6 holes of 10 meters or 10% copper equivalent or better, some over 20%. Unheard of holes, really, anywhere in the world, in the history of the world. So that's how good it was. And, so that, made us really sort of rethink what we had here.
Happy Friday, everybody. Glad to be here. Another beautiful day out in Vancouver. Happy birthday to my brother. It's my brother's birthday. But today we're going to talk about energy. We're going to focus not only on nuclear reactor stories. All the nuclear companies have had very strong years. Year to date, it's pulled back a bit, but if you go year to year, so January 10th last year to January 10th this year, it's been a very strong year for them. And like all things, there'll be volatility, but the future looks bright for nuclear as well as uranium. The biggest story and the easiest one, if one wants to follow, is Constellation. By far, that's the story of the day. They just are closing is it $16.4 billion acquisition of Calpine. And this is interesting. Just as we had originally years ago started talking about Cameco and them buying Westinghouse, and also I'll say the CEO of Westinghouse has stepped down. He's moved on. He's retired. Cameco gave them then not only the complete diversified portfolio of projects they are producing, is that then they have Westinghouse, what makes nuclear reactors. It's vertically integrated, and I love vertically integrated companies. If you're looking for long-term strategies where companies are seeing where's the world going, well, we have to be considerate of logistics, of where we're getting our materials, how we're getting materials, are they reliable, how are they getting to us, and then who's the end user. When you have a strategy for deployment of creating energy and then delivering it, that's pretty interesting, and that's what Constellation Energy has done here with Calpine. Calpine is one of the strongest for natural gas, for cleaner natural gas, as well as geothermal generation, which is very cool. I believe that low emission natural gas generation. This makes the combination of the two the nation's leading competitive retail electric supplier, providing 2.5 million customers with a broad array of customized energy solutions. Pretty huge. Now, of course, a lot of you will remember the Constellation. That got headlines because it's Microsoft. The stock surged 156% last year, or over the past year. It's in large part because of the restarting of 3 Mile Island, and that was in plans with Microsoft. That alone was a very, very favorable, attractive kind of milestone for the world to realize what's taking place. That energy. This energy discussion is critical. And we're going to see lots of energy talk. I mean, it's not going to stop. The West needs to be energy dependent, and we're going to see that whole tool belt of energy at play from the year ahead. And that will be Alberta with oil and gas, as well as their DLE with lithium. And it'll be, of course, all of the uranium and nuclear sector as well. And that's only going to build. We're looking forward to what's going to happen over the next years. And I remind people that yes, these stocks have done very well, but these are long-term projects. This is years worth of stuff. Whether you're looking at the SMR end of actual nuclear, or you're looking at permitting and projects in uranium, there has to be, as we've always kind of said, a quicker, faster way to permit and to get to market than there currently is in the West. And we've got an article as well that we've got that is posted today, and it just kind of looks at, how come China is able to kick out these reactors like it's nothing? They're able to produce reactors at a huge rate, and sorry, that at an alarming rate, which is very exciting. Let me just jump back into some notes here. Adam was just kind of trying to. I lost my train of thought. Adam was reminding me of something. Just tell me. Turn my mic. Yeah, there. Okay, sorry. I think the sound probably wasn't coming in very well. In any event, so yes, there's what's attracting all the attention to nuclear is this realization from pretty much every tech billionaire that the AI demands, the power demands, the electrical demands that are going to be put on the system are incredible. If you thought crypto was hard to generate one coin, it's nothing compared to AI. AI is it's so costly to make any of these amazing advancements. That's the one thing, not to make this about AI, is some of the wonderful things AI can do. We're kind of used to just playing with ChatGPT, and you can make it do very, very cool things, which still cost a decent amount of a subscription. If you're actually trying to do some of the big, large-scale problem solving that they're doing, you're going to pay a lot for a subscription. I think OpenAI's was $200 US a month for their first top-level subscription. That doesn't take into account how many like tokens you can use or steps you use, which cost extra. You'll be up in the thousands and thousands very quickly to perform more complex solutions with it. It's they have to make their money back somehow. I mean, the amount of money going into AI is incredible. And that's usually at the end of the day, it's the big tech companies who are mostly using it right now, except for the likes of retail that are having fun making cool memes or making interesting videos and whatnot. We have to be very mindful that the cost of it is huge, and that part of it is because of energy. I mean, the demands are going to be massive. And if we look at a great article here, we like to always refer back to Sprott, because we're trying to reach out to a lot of new people. And I think if you go to just I'm great to be a gatekeeper to kind of point people in the right directions. And if you're brand new, uranium and nuclear is a challenging thing to jump into. It's a lot to know. You can go straight to Sprott and read. There's an excellent article by Steve Schofstel in there talking about some of the opportunities in the market. He gives a bit of a breakdown regarding data center electricity demands by 2030. Of course, it talks about what they think as far as estimates of demand is going to be. It's pretty huge, and sometimes we get some pushback saying, "Well, Andrew, it's 2030. We're only 2025." And I remind people that people don't seem to mind Tesla or any of the AI discussion or any of the tech discussion about driverless cars, driverless taxis, robots, all these wonderful imaginable things where, oh my God, this is happening. People are willing to pay huge multiples off that not actually happening yet. I mean, it's still a ways to go to be in any kind of mass consumption scale. They're willing to pay for that today in those tech companies, but they give a bit of pushback when they look at energy or other projects to go, oh, well, I don't have to pay for that today. So there has to be a bit of a realignment in most people's mode of thinking of understanding that there's a huge opportunity. It may not be as glamorous as talking about a robot with Tesla, like Optimus, or even with NVIDIA. They're getting into they're in the robotics game, but they're building out robots as well. That's a big fun conversation, but you don't get any of that. You don't get any of it unless you've got energy, and we're going to see that huge belt of opportunity of tools. I like to say tools in the tool belt moving forward along the gamut with the new administrations coming in, both here in Canada and in the U.S. I mean, I'm talking a little bit out of hand as far as Canada goes, but I think most people kind of assume that it's going to be a shift in power here in March once the current government is off their vacation and decides they want to go back to work and put. Sorry, that was a bit of a dig. And address some of the big problems and put a game plan, a business plan together for the year ahead. there's a huge opportunity here in Canada to be able to utilize all of our natural resources, all the wealth we've got in the ground, all the expertise above ground that knows how to get it out, all the incredible projects that we have, and then, of course, deliver to a lot of the giant brainstem that we've got in different pockets across Canada. I always just point to Waterloo because that's an easiest and an obvious place of huge, big brain tech minds. But there's plenty of places across Canada, and we should be utilizing all of that. And nuclear is going to be a key factor and a key player in that game as well. There's no doubt that we're going nuclear, and we've talked about it over the years. And certainly in the short term, we see Cameco has said that they are going to be increasing their production, aiming for about 37 million pounds of uranium, up from 23.1 million. That's a big increase, and that comes off the back of Kazatomprom, their news that they're having, not only in the past year, lots of challenges in regards to sorting or placing and getting sulfuric acid. But they've also said that they are dropping their overall production by about 20%. And that's a significant number. We had talked about in a blog before that 50% of the Kazakhstan uranium was headed off to China anyway. That happened about 4 or 5 months ago. And that's pretty significant. That is huge for a lot of producers, near-term producers, a lot of truly fantastic uranium projects and companies out there that have done very well, but they also look pretty good right now. And certainly if you like that Sprott article, they're very bullish on the case moving forward. And I think it goes to show that if you look at the people involved on the nuclear end that need this fuel from uranium, it's Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Sam Altman, Mark Benioff from Salesforce, all of them, whether that's General Fusion, Oklo, TerraPower, which is also Bill Gates, never mind the deal with Constellation. Sam Altman has Oklo and has another one. I'm trying to remember what that one is as well. And then Mark Benioff has invested in Commonwealth Fusion Systems. I think that's in partnership with MIT. It's in Boston. And these are huge billions of dollars of commitment in order to get the safest, cleanest power. And yeah, it's expensive. We touched on that in our blog. So go take a peek as to the big pushback to people. And they say, oh my God, it's very expensive. And yeah, it's not cheap. It is very expensive. We're not ignorant to that, or we're very cognizant of the fact that it is. And we touch on this on the blog about why is it so much cheaper in China? Now, the obvious, of course, it's authoritarian, and they don't have to rely on quite as many issues as they do in North America or the West. Permitting is certainly not an issue for them. They do follow independent or international atomic standards, so there isn't any fast tracking around regulations. They do it all properly, but there certainly isn't the type of regulatory permitting setbacks you get here, which stop a lot of projects moving forward. Also moving forward here, I wanted to touch on some of these other SMRs as well. So like NuScale Power, we talked about them about just over a year ago, and they had IPO'd, come out, and was a real kind of belle of the ball. I think it was MIT's top pick for 2024. They spiked up, did kind of well, and then it started falling apart a bit. But boy, in the course of the year, it has shone. It has really lifted up. And this is your SMR, or small modular reactor. It was as low as $2-3 US. It's up at $19.55 today. So has done exceptionally well, making deals. I think it's $4.5 billion company now at this point. This Constellation deal is certainly the bigger one and the most notable one, and it's off the backs of the AI conversation, and it's good for people to realize that to put all of these things together is that we need to have clean energy, new technology, all of these things. And what that means is a ton of metals in mining. All of it comes from the ground. That's why I always tell people, all of this AI, it really does, fundamentally, it comes from the ground. I know it's a lot of steps to get there, but you don't get any of it unless you have secure logistics right from the ground. And more people are realizing that and starting to realize that, yes, it's a tougher space, I guess, to first get into, but it really isn't at the end of the day. It's no more difficult to understand mining than it is to possibly get your head wrapped around any energy, whether it's drilling for oil and gas, drilling for helium, or whether it's if you're going to attempt to analyze a nuclear reactor. These are very, very specific skills. I'm certainly not one that's going to be able to give any engineering insight as to an SMR, other than the very shallow, cursory knowledge of what's out there, and then look at it from sales or what seems to be being picked up by largely a lot of these billionaires, because that's what leads the market nowadays. It is very much momentum. People look towards these big names, these big billionaires who are driving forward, and what they do holds a lot of weight. I kind of said flippantly, but I meant it, that the nuclear renaissance, or this second nuclear era, wouldn't be about politicians. It wouldn't be about COP28. It wouldn't be about WEF. It wouldn't be about any of those things. It would be the final realization by these billionaires that if they look at evidence and look at data, that nuclear is going to be their answer. And certainly with Calpine, you get liquid natural gas there as well, in order to kind of offset some of the costs there. They want that stable base load. And that doesn't take away from anything from where, say, wind or solar works well. I mean, certainly lots of solar panels in the desert or a very sunny place. Hey, all for it. But there we go. Sorry, my cord is a little bit sensitive here, and if I hit it, if I get too animated, it mutes me. So in any event, let's see, where should I jump back in here? Lots of news on the uranium front as well. We're going to be posting quite a bit. We have ones as far as projects that we really like. There are a lot of projects to choose from, whether or not you're looking at more near term or to closer to production that would be able to address some of the shortfalls very soon. Cameco isn't just the only game in town. There's a number of other companies to look at, but also it's good to be able to look at medium and long-term projects, because this is a long-term play. You want to constantly have in the feeding system projects that we can come and bring online, and it's going to become more and more of an issue. We've said it before. Take out the conversation of tariffs and Trump and whatnot that's been going on lately. The gap between China and the logistics issues was widening every administration because of the complete understanding that we can't be reliant on other people for our energy. It doesn't make any sense. You can't negotiate if someone has all the cards. And Canada has a great situation right now where if our leaders realized that we have an incredible hand at play here, if they utilize it properly, we would be in an incredible position. This would be a very wealthy country. And that's coming. It certainly is coming. And if we have the right people in place and a plan put forward, there's a lot of hope. I know a lot of people don't see that way right now. They're overwhelmed by a lot of negative news out there, a lot of stress. There still is. There's a lot of change still. But with that, removing obvious, concerns and some distractions, if we focus and really harness in on what are the key ingredients to make any of this possible, to me, that's the safest risk-adjusted rate of return or investment one could make. Do we have enough lemons to make our lemonade for our lemonade stand? Where are those lemons coming from? Are there tariffs on those lemons? Are there this? Are there that? These are all questions when you break down, what do I need to make my lemonade stand and sell my lemons? If I just have lemons, I don't have sugar, who's going to buy it? These are the type of questions that we need to be focusing on when you're looking at our portfolio. It's easy to get caught up and just go, I just want to buy the top, magnificent 7 stocks and not think about it. Yeah, those have done very well lately. But if you are someone who's very interested in in actually building out a longer term portfolio, having some diversification, looking at all these metals and miners and those that are going to fulfill all the demand with metals from the West to the West to solve these problems. There's a huge opportunity there, and we're going to see that unfold over the course of the year. It's a bumpy start for a lot of people, and I get it. There's a lot of change right now, and people are calling for change, and we're seeing it. And even if we think it's positive change, it doesn't take away from the fact that there's a lot of big macro factors that we have to deal with. A lot of debt. There's a lot of pushback when people say, "Oh, it's such a strong economy." It isn't. It's a strong economy when you look at it from one perspective. If you just looked at the numbers, you take a look at the tech companies and that 0.1% of the population. Yes, it's adding so much to GDP, and that 0.1 of the population, they're doing quite well. But the problem, whenever you don't have a diversified economy, and you're basically all into one small basket, is that the rest of your people are not doing well. And that's the case. Most people across North America and in Europe are not doing very well. So not only the average person, the above average person, your lawyer is having a hard time getting by in a place like Vancouver. That's shocking. That is not how things should be. That's a reflection of what the actual economy is. When you go into the nuance of what are the numbers telling you. Just looking at a number going, hey, GDP went up. It doesn't mean really anything. It's how much did it go up? Who did it satisfy? Was it actually lifting the country, or was it just only lifting one exact tiny small portion of the population? And that's what we've seen. And we need to get that spread out and to give people a chance. And when they get fired up and they see that there's a chance for a future for them, they're going to get excited. I'm going to keep this one a bit short today because I've run into some technical problems with this poor computer, but we've got a huge article out in our blog. We want you to go take a peek at it, give us some thoughts. In there, we talk about some of the issues in regards to China and their ability to produce. I believe it's $2,200 a kilowatt hour. I won't even quote it because I'm not able to pull up the sheet right now, but they're able to do it at least half the price. And part of that is not only the fact, they don't have to pay people as much. That's a big positive. But also part of that is the fact they don't have permitting. The issues of permitting and the cost of permitting in North America and in the West as a whole is so shockingly high that it's almost detrimental. And that doesn't mean, once again, I always reiterate that we don't want to do things safely, effectively, and properly. It just means that we've gone so far to the other end of having huge groups of people having their say into matters that really they have no business having their say in. That might sound a bit controversial. I don't care. That's my perspective. I think that we have an opportunity and we have a necessity to be able to solve some of these issues, whether you're taking it from a geopolitical point of view and you're concerned that BRICS, or specifically China, will have energy independence and authority over the rest of the world, or you believe it's the climate narrative. Whatever it is, I don't mind. Choose the narrative that you like. We need to have strong ability to access cheap, efficient, dependable, and reliable energy. That's the standard from which we can start to grow and build. And that standard means metals and mining. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of the day. Have a great weekend. We'll look forward to talking to you next week, Wednesday. We will have Dr. Quinton Henning on. That'll be great. He's going to talk about the results from Goliath, which were very strong. And it's wonderful to have someone like that who can walk us through from his perspective, and that's quite a person to be able to have on to walk us through perspectives on projects. And we're really looking forward to that. Enjoy the rest of the day, everyone, and take care.
Drilled it expecting to get more, 1.5% nickel type thing, which would be fine, which would be great. you get a lot of happy people finding a 1.5% nickel. Nonetheless, what we found was something quite completely different. We found our discovery hole was almost 8 meters of what was about 1 ounce PGMs, 1.5% copper, and it was 60 meters from surface. So it was quite a surprise. and obviously a happy surprise. We hit some amazing holes, really, each one sort of better than the next. We had, I don't know, at least, 5 or 6 holes of 10 meters or 10% copper equivalent or better, some over 20%. Unheard of holes, really, anywhere in the world, in the history of the world. So that's how good it was. And, so that, made us really sort of rethink what we had here.